tea-obsessed world of early 20th century America, a man named Thomas Sullivan, a tea and coffee merchant from New York, was always looking for an edge. He was a practical man, not an inventor, but his simple act of thrift would accidentally change the way the world drank tea. Back then, tea was sold loose from large, fragrant chests. Customers would order a pound, and Thomas would send it out in bulky, expensive tins. It was reliable, but costly for a small merchant trying to grow his business. One day in 1908, frustrated with the expense of the tins, Thomas had an idea. He procured a batch of small, delicate, hand-sewn silk pouches from a local supplier. They were elegant, lightweight, and far cheaper to post. He carefully measured out his finest teas, a smoky Ceylon, a floral oolong, a robust Assam, and portioned them into these dainty little bags. He then sent them out as free samples to his customers, assuming they would understand the process. Open the pouch, empty the leaves into your pot, and brew as usual. But Thomas had underestimated the inherent laziness of the human race, or, as he would later charitably call it, the desire for convenience. Weeks later, he started receiving puzzled letters and then excited orders. Loved the samples. They read, "So easy to use. Please send a pound of the tea that comes in the little silk bags." His customers, in a glorious misinterpretation of his intentions, had simply tossed the entire pouch into their teapots and poured boiling water over it. No messy spoons, no floating leaves to strain, no cleanup. It was a revelation born of a misunderstanding. Thomas, being a good businessman, didn't correct them. He thought, if they want the bags, they shall have the bags. He began selling his tea bags as a novel product, but silk was porous and expensive. He experimented. He tried gauze, which was cheaper but still a bit too open. Then, a breakthrough, a thin, porous paper, specially crafted, to be both food safe and to allow water to flow through while containing the leaves. It was perfect. The design evolved. The first bags were hand-stitched and open, like tiny drawstring purses. Then they became sealed little pillows. But the true moment of genius came from another quarter entirely. A few years later, a pair of women named Roberta C. Lawson and Mary Mullerin, from Milwaukee, recognized a fundamental flaw. The little pillow-shaped bag didn't allow the tea leaves enough room to expand and swirl in the water, leading to a weaker brew. In 1929, they filed a patent for a tea leaf holder. That was a truly novel shape, a tetrahedron, a tiny, four-sided pyramid. Their design stated it was so constructed that it has a large expansion capacity. It was brilliant. The tea inside had room to unfurl, releasing its full flavor. This was, arguably, the first proper, engineered tea bag. However, the tetrahedron was complex to manufacture. The true, mass-market revolution came in the 1940s with the advent of the heat-sealed, rectangular bag. It was a compromise, not as roomy as the tetrahedron, but cheap, fast, and easy to produce by the millions. It became the standard. And then, one day in the 1990s, a factory worker at Tetley, or so the legend goes, was watching the bags shoot down the production line. The rectangular bags were flat, with a string and tag tucked neatly on one side. But sometimes, they'd get tangled. The worker had an idea. What if the tag wasn't attached to the flat side, but to the seam? This created a small, but crucial, asymmetry. When dunked, the bag